There are only two dynasties in Chinese history that died in the second generation, Qin and Sui. Unlike Qin Ershi, who was lazy, Emperor Yang of Sui had many more ideals and ambitions. His goal was to become an emperor who surpassed the Qin emperor and Han Wudi, but he ended up with a bad reputation and became the most controversial emperor in ancient Chinese history. When he was young, Yang was a popular top talent in the Sui dynasty, handsome and intelligent. He followed his father, Emperor Wen of Sui, Yang Jian, in the south and the north since he was a child, and he was full of vigor and vitality. At the age of 13, he married concubine Xiao, who was known as the most beautiful woman in the Sui dynasty. When we were still in college, the 19-year-old Yang had become a marshal. He followed the veterans to conquer the capital of the state of Chen in a few months and became famous in one battle. After conquering the state of Chen, Yang also ordered the Chen state treasury to be sealed, and no gold, silver, or treasures were taken. The whole world praised Yang wisdom. After conquering the Chen kingdom, Yang continued to help his father fight in the south and the north. At this time, Yang was young and promising, with beautiful women by his side, and an absolute winner in life. But he always felt that he was missing something. He wanted the throne. Yang elder brother was named Yang, and he was designated by his father, Emperor Wen of Sui, as the heir to the throne. Compared to his younger brother Yang was much dumber. His father was a famous thrifty little model among emperors, while Yang had many wives and concubines, and often invited ministers to have parties, and even ordered someone to make him a set of golden armor. Maybe Yang was planning to become a golden saint? In order to train Yang, Emperor Wen of Sui sent someone to give Yang his old sword and Yang's favorite pickled vegetables. The meaning is very clear: remember the bitterness and think of the sweetness, you save some money. Yang not only did not restrain himself, but even pointed at the beautiful maids behind his mother Dugu Jialuo at a banquet and said, and quote, "Mom, I want them all." And quote, alas, a few dishes made him drink like this. How did Emperor Wen of Sui and Dugu Jialuo, a super pair of dragon and phoenix, give birth to such a stupid son? Emperor Wen of Sui was so angry that he wanted to die. Yang was very happy when he heard the news. This doesn't give me a chance. Yang followed the example of Emperor Wen of Sui dynasty, usually wearing only plain clothes, and showing love with his wife Xiao Fei every day. Whenever his parents came to visit, Yang would deliberately leave his ugly and old wives and concubines to serve his parents-in-law, and cut off all the strings of the zither in the house, which made it clear that he would not spend money, love beautiful women, or hold parties. After comparing with Emperor Yang of Sui dynasty, the two sons finally made up their minds and replaced the eldest with the youngest in 600 AD, and made Yang the crown prince. There is an interesting little Easter egg here. In April 2013, a Chinese real estate developer unearthed an ancient tomb. Archaeological experts rushed to the scene to take a look. Wow, this is not the tomb of Emperor Yang of Sui dynasty. The real estate developer was named Yang. Let's get back to the point. In 604 AD, Emperor Wen of Sui dynasty died. Regarding the claim that Emperor Wen of Sui was killed by Yang, I checked the Sui Shu Gaozu Dig, which did not record the specific cause of Emperor Wen of Sui's death, but the envoy commented at the end of the article that Emperor Wen of Sui was spoiled and abandoned the legitimate heir, and the trust was lost. Pei Shu Yang Dichuan only mentioned the death of Emperor Wen of Sui in passing. In short, for Yang, the sky is wide and the land is vast at this time, and he can finally let go and do something big. A fortune teller said to Yang that Yongju is not suitable for you, and it is not compatible with your horoscope. I suggest you move to Luoyang in the center of the world. Yang said that we should move the capital, but we can set a principle for the move, mainly to be frugal. Is it really because of the incompatibility of horoscopes that the capital was moved? What is the profound significance of Luoyang, an ancient capital that has experienced 13 dynasties, being the capital here? If Elevenan is compared to Rome, then Luoyang is the Constantinople of the East. The city is surrounded by mountains, and one man can block the pass, and 10,000 men cannot open it. It also has the convenience of water conservancy. It is a distribution center for commodities in the world, and its economic status is unmatched. Moreover, moving the capital to Luoyang could better win over the talents in the south of the Yangtze River and the nobles in the north to check and balance each other. It can be said to be an important strategic layout of Emperor Yang of Sui. As a top second-generation rich man, how did Yang Guang save money? In the eastern capital Luoyang, even a tree had to have epic skin, and every tree had to be wrapped in silk. Rare building materials had to be collected from all over the country. The pillars had to be from Yuzhang, not the rare stones from Jiangnan and Lingbei. We didn't need to choose rare animals and precious flowers, but only those that ordinary people had never seen. In general, we didn't ask for the best, but we asked for the best. The eastern capital was built in 10 months. The speed of building the city was proportional to the suffering endured by the people of the Sui dynasty. Yang Guang built a new Luoyang, which was like taking a city from the ground. He mobilized 2 million men every month. The scene at that time was that treasures were transported into the city in carts, and corpses were pulled out of the city in carts. After the eastern capital was built, Yang Guang held a grand art performance in Luoyang city, calling envoys from various countries to watch and learn. There were more than 18,000 musicians and actors participating in the performance. The performance lasted from morning to night, all night, and lasted for more than a month. Moreover, all the food and drinks in the city were free, and the main purpose was to show off. In short, the construction of the eastern capital was well-reasoned and extremely luxurious. Yang Guang, who dreamed of becoming the greatest emperor of all time, ordered the construction of the Grand Canal to connect Beijing, Tianjin, Hebei, and the Yangtze River Delta. The Grand Canal is more than 2,700 kilometers long, nearly half the length of the Yangtze River. The Grand Canal connects the north and south of China, making the empire's waterways accessible in all directions. It not only promoted the economic and cultural development of the country, but also strengthened the control over the northeast and the south. It was equivalent to opening a long-distance portal for the officers of the Sui dynasty. What a wonderful thing! But Yang Guang was too anxious. If a section of the canal could be completed in 3 to 5 years, it would be a great cause for generations. For example, the Yongji Canal was required to be completed in just 5 months, leaving all the pressure on the people. Emperor Yang Guang ordered that all Chinese men over the age of 15 must come to dig the canal for me. If there were not enough men, women would make up for it. A total of 3.6 million people were conscripted. It seems that the Grand Canal was not built by Yang Guang alone, but by countless working people. It was such a glorious undertaking. If we were to return to the Sui dynasty, we would not be able to become Emperor Yang of Sui. The most likely possibility is that we would become a great canal digger, with no pension if we die and no salary if we survive. Now it is time for Yang Guang to show his talent. Yang Guang built a dragon boat, which was 13 meters high, 5 stories high, 15 meters wide and 60 meters long, which is about the size of a standard swimming pool. According to the day miscellaneous records written by Du Bao of the Sui dynasty, there were as many as 5,191 boats. In order to show off their power, the number of people traveling with the boat must be considerable, and there were 80,000 boatmen alone. There were nearly 200,000 people, including princes, nobles, civil and military officials, concubines, and maids in the harem, which was the largest tour group in history. The length of the fleet also reached an astonishing 200 miles. The first ship was about to enter Hangzhou, and the tail fleet had just left Suzhou. Moreover, wherever the fleet passed, more than 500 miles, all had to offer food, which was like a group of locusts. Once they went out to play, they had to play for half a year. This is how Pai Rixio of the Tang dynasty commented, unquote. The Sui king built this river, and it has been thousands of miles of water. If there were no water palace dragon boats, there would be no more merits than you. Unquote. To be honest, Yang Guang's overall record was good. He beat Lini in the south, kicked Khitan in the north, controlled the 2 Yuhan on the left, twisted Ryukyu on the right, and shocked the Turks. That year, Emperor Yang of Sui looked at the world and didn't know what an opponent was, but there was one place that always bothered him, and that was Jiao Go Li. Goguryeo was not submissive to the Sui dynasty and would harass the borders of the Sui dynasty from time to time. As an emperor of the ages, could he tolerate this? He must be weakened. In 611 AD, Emperor Yang of Sui assembled a total of 1,133,800 soldiers and horses from all over the world. This was only for those who could fight. He also summoned nearly 20,000 civilians for logistics. It is conservatively estimated that nearly 3 million people were mobilized to march to Pyongyang. Of course, the military strength in history is habitually inflated, but even if it is 20% off, there are more than 600,000. It stands to reason that this kind of combat power, let alone Goguryeo, can't stand it, but unexpectedly, it lost because Goguryeo learned the art of war. What's going on? Before the army went out, Yang Guang ordered that although I would not go to the front line, I still had to command in person. The minister said that beating Goguryeo was as simple as beating a mouse, and there was no need for you to command in person. Yang Guang said that it was not possible, and all military operations, big or small, must be reported to the emperor. The key is the second order. Our Sui dynasty is a great country, and we must show our dignity. As long as the small country of Goguryeo surrenders, we are not allowed to fight. This order is simply amazing. Everything went well at the beginning. Not long after the Sui army advanced all the way to Liaodong city and attacked the city, the defenders of Goguryeo in the city could not stand it and hurriedly shouted, "Brother, I was wrong, I surrender." The generals of the Sui army were very happy and immediately sent someone to report the good news to Yang Guang. The Goguryeo in the city saw it and thought, "Wow, is it so easy to admit mistakes? Hurry up and recover." Emperor Yang of Sui was very happy when he received the news. Goguryeo status was fully restored. He said, "Sorry, I won't surrender. Let's fight." The Sui army was very angry and gave Jiao Go Li a beating. Jiao Go Li shouted again, "Brother, I was wrong. I surrender." Although the generals of the Sui dynasty were helpless, they had to ask the boss for instructions after all Yang Guang's military order. Yang Guang was very happy. Goguryeo status was fully restored. "Here I am. I can beat 10 this time." Since then, Goguryeo has successfully found a bug. If you can't beat them, you can surrender. It's fun to get stuck with the bug for a while. It's fun to keep getting stuck with the bug. Goguryeo jumped back and forth between surrender and not surrender, and the morale of the Sui army fluctuated between winning and not winning. Seeing that the army was collapsing, Yang Guang went to the front line to call in person, but it was useless. What is the war about? It's money. After 1 million troops had gone through so much trouble, the Sui dynasty failed to defeat Goguryeo. The war cost a lot of food and money, and coupled with the large-scale construction in the previous years, the people were full of complaints. At one time, rebellions arose everywhere, and Emperor Yang of Sui had no choice but to withdraw his troops. Logically speaking, in this situation, Yang Guang should have quelled the rebellion and rested the people. But at this time, Yang Guang only saw Goguryeo, which had slapped him in the face. In 613 AD, Yang Guang sent troops to attack Goguryeo for the second time. This time, Emperor Yang of Sui learned his lesson and allowed his subordinates to change their ways. "Everyone, let go and fight. I don't care about the process, I only care about the result." It is the most familiar phrase to the Chinese. Without the emperor to hold back, the army pushed all the way to Pyongyang. Just when it seemed that this wave was stable, the capital was attacked. The man who secretly attacked the capital of the Sui dynasty was called Yang Shengan. Who is Yang Shengan? He is a young man of the Guanlong group. This Guanlong group is not the focus of this issue. We will talk about it later. In short, the Guanlong group is very powerful. They have 8 pillars, 12 generals, and a total of 20 big families. For example, the grandfather of Emperor Gaozu of Tangli Yuan, the great-grandfather of Li Mi, the leader of Wagangjai, and the father of Emperor Wen of Sui Yang Jian are all in it. To exaggerate, in that era, whoever wanted to be the emperor had to look at the Guanlong group to see if you liked it. In order to secure his throne, Emperor Yang of Sui dynasty did not stop suppressing the Guanlong group. He used many methods, the first of which was the imperial examination. He first upgraded the imperial examination system promoted by his father. In the past, in the Sui dynasty, if you wanted to be an official, you had to go to the Guanlong group to find an acquaintance to get a letter of introduction. Emperor Yang of Sui dynasty announced that it would not be necessary in the future, and we could just take the exam. The Guanlong group was not happy, but Emperor Yang of Sui dynasty's examination system was not perfect, and the scale of the examination was not enough, so it did not have a very good effect. At most, it was a good start. The second method is to add sand, such as the move of the capital to Luoyang mentioned earlier, and then recruit talents from the south to suppress the Guanlong group. The third is officialdom reform. In the past, most of the Guanlong group were meritorious officials, and this was a position of real power. After Yang Guang issued an order, this was an honorary title. In the past, if the Guanlong nobles wanted to be promoted, the main way was to wait for seniority. After a certain number of years, the official position would naturally come. Emperor Yang of Sui said, "That won't work, and performance appraisal will be required in the future." Now Yang Xiangan and other second-generation members of the Guanlong group were even more unhappy. Why can't they just win without doing anything? I don't want to be in your lousy class for the rest of the day. I might as well just rebel. Yang Xiangan took advantage of the fact that rebels were everywhere in the country and also raised an army and fought all the way to the capital. When Yang Guang heard that the capital was attacked, he quickly ordered the entire army to return. The second expedition ended hastily in Gaogula, which was roughly equivalent to a picnic in Pyongyang for the entire army. Although Yang Xuangan's rebellion was quickly quelled, the second expedition to Goguryeo ended in failure, which not only consumed the national strength of the Sui dynasty, but also consumed Yang Guang's mind. He began to be suspicious. Yang Guang believed that the reason for the rebellion was that there were too many people and a group of people needed to be killed. This was the same way of thinking as Thanos. Yang Guang killed more than 30,000 followers of Yang Xuangan's rebels in one breath. Anyone who had a little friendship with Yang Xiangan was exiled to the border. Yang Guang was even more worried about the Guanlong group, especially the one named Li Yuan, who was in charge of the troops of 13 counties and did not look like a good person. Yang Guang wanted to call Li Yuan to the capital every day to have a chat. In order to reassure Yang Guang, Li Yuan drank a lot of wine every day, was a big womanizer, and pretended to be a man without ambition, so he escaped. Yang Guang also ordered that if a family had rebelled, the family property must be confiscated. The officials below were unhappy. Who is the rebel? We have the final say. The people are miserable. There are more rebels in the world. The more rebels there are, the more opportunities for officials to abuse their power, which has become a vicious cycle. Emperor Yang of Sui set out again stubbornly. In 613 AD, Emperor Yang of Sui issued an edict for the third time, again recruiting soldiers from all over the world to attack Goguryeo. In the first two battles, the elite of the Sui dynasty were almost completely lost, and Goguryeo was also seriously injured. In this third round, the Sui army and Goguryeo were fighting like chickens, and both sides fought very poorly. In this battle of mutual misery, Goguryeo was a little worse. The generals of the Sui army defeated the Goguryeo army in Bidu city and marched towards Pyongyang. Goguryeo had to use their unique skills again. "Sorry, brother, I was wrong." Emperor Yang of Sui looked at the letter of surrender and thought for less than a second. Don't give them a chance to regret it, let's return to the court. In this way, Emperor Yang of Sui picked up the face that fell on the ordinary land and ended the third expedition with the entire army. Some people say that Yang Guang was aggressive in Goguryeo, but the difference between the Qin Emperor and the Han Emperor is that Yang Guang failed to defeat Goguryeo. History sometimes judges heroes by success or failure. At this time, the Sui Empire was already in tatters, and there were rebels everywhere. What should Yang Guang do? Yang Guang didn't believe it. If a minister reported that there were many rebels, Yang Guang would say, and quote, "You are trying to scare me, right, and quote, kill this minister." Who would dare to tell the truth? The ministers had to pretend that the world was peaceful around Yang Guang. Since the world was at peace, Yang Guang decided to travel to Jiangju. The loyal minister Kui Minxiang stopped Yang Guang at the gate and said that the world opposed it and he would die if he went. Yang Guang ordered people to remove Kui Minxiang's chin and then cut him off, and then embarked on the journey of death in his life. Yang Guang stayed in Jiangju for 2 years. During this period, the Central Plains was in chaos and the whole country was shaken. Li Mi, the son of the Guanlong group, led the Wagangjai rebels all the way to Luoyang, the eastern capital. In November of the same year, Yang Guang's cousin Li Yuan raised an army in Jinyang and captured Chang'an City, but Yang Guang still had no intention of returning to the north. At this time, he was already afraid and couldn't sleep at night. He had to find a few women to shake him and comfort him before he could fall asleep. He also ordered people to build more than 100 houses, decorated with extremely luxurious decorations. What was in them? They were all beauties he collected from the people. Yang Guang and the more than 1,000 beauties who accompanied him got drunk every day. History says that Yang Guang was lustful, but in fact, Yang Guang was not really lustful in the early stage. In the last stage of his life, Yang Guang fell into a state of madness because of despair. Wine and sex became the only antidote for him to numb himself, which also made later generations seize on the braids to say that he was licentious. Yang Guang often said to his wife Empress Zhao in a mirror, and quote, "Who do you think should chop off a good head like mine?" And quote, the person who chopped off Yang Guang's head was his confidant Yu Wenji. Most of the officers and soldiers who came to Jiangdong with Yang Guang were from Guangzhou. Because they were homesick, they all wanted to go home. Yang Guang would not let them go. Whoever dared to leave would be killed. The accompanying officers and soldiers finally couldn't stand it. In 618 AD, Yu Wenji led people into Yang Guang's bedroom. At the last moment of his life, Yang Guang still wanted to save face. The emperor has his own way of dying. After drinking, Yang Guang chose to hang himself, leaving his body intact. Emperor Yang Guang of the Sui dynasty thus ended at the age of 50. After Yang Guang's death, Li Yuan, the Duke of Tang, ascended the throne and founded the Tang dynasty. He was based in Guangzhou, swept away the heroes, unified the world, and established another extremely powerful Tang dynasty since the Han dynasty. Throughout Yang Guang's life, his strategic design ability was no problem. He held imperial examinations, built canals, and went on expeditions to Goguryeo. All of these were great things that could make him an emperor of the ages. He drove the chariot of the Sui dynasty all the way and overturned on the right road at excessive speed. Born with a silver spoon in his mouth, he had never experienced the suffering of the people. He neither understood the people's hearts nor knew how to use the people's hearts. He was indifferent to the common people, and offended the power of the Guanlong nobles, making himself a lonely man. I don't know how everyone will evaluate Emperor Yang of the Sui dynasty, but we believe that the deep bones on both sides of the canal will not think that Yang Guang was not wrong, and the soldiers who died in the 3 expeditions to Goguryeo will not think that Yang Guang was not wrong. But if we lived in the Sui dynasty, would you be willing to dig a canal?